Okay, I am ready.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
How are you doing?
I'm doing, Prabhuji. I'm doing fine. How are you,
Nice.
Prabhuji?
Yeah, also good.
Okay. So if nobody's reading, then Prabhuji, I can read today.
Yeah, thank you. I was about to ask you. Not yet booked. Okay, want
Okay. Just a
to start?
second. Yes, Prabhuji, just a second.
Read till 25th verse.
Okay, Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyaso Tato Jayamudire. Chapter 24, The Renunciation of Kardama Muni. Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows to Swayambhuva Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devahuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation. The sage said, "Do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Person of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son. You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, religious observance, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity. The personality of Godhead being worshipped by you will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman. Sri Maitreya said, Devahuti was fully faithful and respectful towards the direction of her husband, Kardama, who was one of the Prajapatis or generators of human beings in the universe. O great sage, she thus began to worship the master of the universe, the supreme personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart. After many, many years, the supreme personality of Godhead, Madhusudana, the killer of the demon Madhu, having entered the semen of Kardama, appeared in Devahuti, just as fire comes from wood in a sacrifice. At the time of his descent on earth, demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instruments in the sky. The celestial musicians, the Gandharvas, sang the glories of the Lord, while celestial dancing girls known as Apsaras danced in joyful ecstasy. At the time of Lord's appearance, the demigods flying freely in the sky showered flowers. All the directions, all the waters, and everyone's mind became very satisfied. Brahma, the firstborn living being, went along the Marici and other sages, Marichi and other sages to the place of Kardama's hermitage, which was surrounded by the river Saraswati. Maitreya continued, O killer of the enemy, the unborn Lord Brahma, who is almost independent in acquiring knowledge, could understand that a portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his quality of pure existence, had appeared in the womb of Devahuti, just to explain the complete state of knowledge known as Sankhya Yoga. After worshipping the Supreme Lord with gladdened senses and a pure heart, for his intended activities as an incarnation, Brahma spoke as follows to Kardama and Devahuti. Lord Brahma said, My dear son Kardama, since you have completely accepted my instructions without duplicity, showing them proper respect, whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me. Sons ought to render service to their father exactly to this extent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying yes, sir. Lord Brahma then praised Kardama Muni's 9 daughters, saying, "All your thin-waisted daughters are certainly very chaste. I'm sure they will increase this creation by their own descendants in various ways. Therefore, today, please give away your daughters to the foremost of the sages with due regard for the girls' temperaments and likings, and thereby spread your fame all over the universe. O Kardama, I know that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy. He is the bestower of all that is desired by the living entities, and he has now assumed the body of Kapila Muni. By the mystic yoga and the practical application of knowledge from the scriptures, Kapila Muni, who is characterized by his golden hair, his eyes just like lotus petals, and his lotus feet, which bear the marks of lotus flowers, will uproot the deep-rooted desire for work in the material world. Lord Brahma then told Devahuti, "My dear daughter of Manu, the same supreme person of Godhead who killed the demon Kaitavha is now within your womb. He will cut off all the knots of your ignorance and doubt. Thus, he will travel all over the world. Your son will be the head of all the perfected souls. He will be approved by the acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge, and among the people, he will be celebrated by the name Kapila. As the son of Devahuti, he will increase your fame." Sri Maitreya said, after thus speaking to Kardama Muni and his wife Devahuti, Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, who is also known as Hamsa, went back to the highest of the three planetary systems of his swan career with the four Kumaras and Narada. O Vidura, after the departure of Brahma, Kardama Muni, having been ordered by Brahma, handed over his 9 daughters as instructed to the 9 great sages who created the population of the world. Kardama Muni handed over his daughter Kala to Marichi, and another daughter Anusuya to Atri. He delivered Shraddha to Angira, Havirbu to Pulastya. He delivered Gati to Pulaha, the chaste Kriya to Kratu, Khyati to Bhrigu, and Arundhati to Vasisht. He delivered Shanti to Atharva because Shanti sacrificial ceremonies are well performed. Thus, he got the foremost Brahmanas married, and he maintained them along with their wives. Thus, married, the sages took leave of Kardama and departed full of joy, each for his own hermitage, O Vidura. Hare Krishna.
Yep. Thank you very much, Ramesh
Thank
Prabhu.
you. Hare Krishna.
Nice recitation. How did you find?
Very good, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yeah, we're getting into the pastime, the story, along with some philosophy, but mainly the storyline. ओके ॐ ज्ञानतिम्रान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथां मह्यं ददति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलान् श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सगणरघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाख अन्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिसतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Yeah, so we are talking about the renunciation of Kardama Muni. Yeah. But before, yeah, these are the first verses of this chapter. Before that, the connection to the previous one is Devahuti entered. Yeah, so she entered into this um, state where she is kind of self-cursing herself. Yeah, I don't know. If you remember, then she was one sec. Yeah. So what she was doing is she was saying that okay, if one is so blessed, yeah, one should come from the stage of what is it? From dharma. One once understands that what is right thing. When one understands what is dharma, it should develop vairagya because ultimately one should lead a modest life, one should lead a ethical life, and in that process what one develops is that it is not only I am in the center, it's not only for my pleasure, it's not everything for me, that everything is exposed for exploitation, but it is actually leading a life so that i I while I keep myself a kind of sense control and engage in my own success, yeah, I also allow others to succeed, which is in that process develop vairagya. And what is the purpose of this vairagya is to understand that ultimately it's not about me, it's about everyone else, or even to a higher stage it is that the root of the tree, it is the root of everything, it is that supreme lord who is the main person, supreme enjoyer, Purushottama, who is the real person for enjoyment. Uh, so to extend our service to him. So in that way, to become a dharmic is not enough. To become a vairagi is not enough. It's actually to become a bhakta is more important. And Devahuti is cursing herself, saying that what kind of um, um, I'm sure that I was solidly cheated by Maya. Why? Because in spite of such a exalted devotee of the Lord appearing, yeah, he has become my husband. His association, which gives liberation, yeah, I did not seek such liberation. So with that, actually, now we enter into this chapter where. Yeah, here recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows. So he is recollecting, yeah, when Devahuti was very disappointed about herself, that when such a best setup is available, she could not make best of it because of whatever, yeah, reason. So she ideally wanted to tell that when we have such association of devotees, when we have such association of sadhus, when we have such association of great personalities, one should not misuse it and make best of it. Only then one can come to the third level, or actually the final level, which is engaging oneself in the service of the Lord. And what Kardama Muni said is that, oh, Devahuti, whatever you are speaking is the words of renunciants, yeah, renunciants, because one who is very attached is not so much keen about self-realization. One who is in the attachment, one who is still a karmi, who is still enjoying, he is not interested in self. Self realization and self perfection, yeah. So in that way, and the sage said, do not be disappointed with yourself. Uh, you're actually praiseworthy. Yeah, why? Because definitely we heard the greatness of Devahuti in the previous chapter, the qualities that she has. And when Swayambhuva Manu came with Shatarupi to offer their daughter, uh, yeah, we come to know what is the greatness of Devahuti. Yeah, in terms of her physical beauty and in terms of her noble character. Yeah, in that way. So here is saying you are actually praiseworthy. And why? Yeah, it says because the Lord will shortly enter your womb as your son. It's not an ordinary thing. It's not simple thing that Lord taking birth. Uh, so one has to perform great piety, one has to be blessed, and then only it's possible. You have undertaken sacred vows. Uh, God will bless you. Yeah. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith. uh, Through sensory control, religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money and charity. And in this regard, Prabhupada mentions that what is the importance of how to achieve the success in this field. Yeah, just like in any field, we want to know what is the way, the best optimum way to engage ourselves to become successful in the material world. Similarly, in spiritual advancement, what is required is mentioned. Yeah, in order to spiritually advance or to achieve the mercy of the Lord, one must be self-controlled in the following manner. And what is that? He must be restrained in sense gratification and must follow the rules and regulations of religious principles. Without austerity and penance, and without sacrificing one's riches, one cannot achieve the mercy of the Supreme Lord. This is kind of very, very important, especially for grahasthas. Yeah, because it is we who are um, authorized persons to earn, to engage in business, to earn, and but when we um, are exposed to such riches, such opulences, then um, so many other things come as byproducts. Yeah, there is this sense of fear to protect that riches what we have, or the sense of thinking of future. Oh, I want to save that for future, Lord. uh, in For my family, for my extended family, for my generations after generations. So due to which what is happening is all these anarthas that are there are growing strongly. And in order to, I think it is in this verse, no, it comes later. In order to be free from such challenges, one should be very, very liberal. One should be very disposed to this process of engaging one's riches in charity. And without austerity and penance, and without sacrificing one's riches, one cannot achieve the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Yeah. Why? Because here it is said. Yeah. Hence you should worship. So if we want to be successful, here Kardama Muni is telling to Devahuti that one should engage in um, sense control, religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity. One cannot achieve the mercy of the Supreme Lord otherwise. Kardama advised his wife, you have to factually engage in devotional service with austerity and penance, following their religious principles and giving charity. Uh, then the Supreme Lord will be pleased with you and he will come as your son. Hmm. And being worshipped by you will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman. And in this regard, yeah, here he says, why Gardam Muni is mentioning about that he will bring name and fame to me. Yeah, here he says that why Lord appears is to dissipate spiritual knowledge for the benefit of all. Huh? So the Lord is coming indeed, not only for his own relishing his own pastimes, but actually to dissipate the spiritual knowledge. Why? It is something, let's compare this to this fire. Yeah, when in the forest fire, right? This forest, the wood is burnt, and then when this wood is burnt, then there are at the edges or at the tips of this fire there are sparks, and when this spark falls out, then it will slowly lose its identity. Yeah, this fire, which is kind of a light, just like knowledge is also uh, compared to light, yeah, and ignorance is compared to darkness. Hmm? When this fire is in full power, what is happening is that when it is in its own nature, whatever the small, small fragmental sparks together is one fire, and nothing is diminishing. But as soon as this spark that is coming out of this fire, when it falls out of this fire, which means the spiritual knowledge, when the spiritual knowledge is coming in contact with the matter, what is happening is that the spiritual knowledge is not properly absorbed by the materialistic people. So what is happening is this, I mean, maybe that will come after 15 verses, but I'm just in this connection saying that what is happening is the spiritual knowledge, no? The ability to imbibe and appreciate and relish becomes less and less as and when the material propensities of the person increases. Which means if a person is not absorbing the spiritual knowledge as it is, why? Because of the granthas, yeah, that is coming here. mm, then yeah, he generally descends, the Lord descends and again provides the spiritual knowledge for the welfare of everyone. huh? Being pleased by the devotees devotional service, he appears in his family. So here what happens, the Lord can appear anywhere, anyway, and anytime. Yeah, we know so many principal avatars, like this also comes in the purport where Nrsingadeva has appeared from the pillar. Yeah, and yeah, I'll speak that later. So therefore, no one is his father, but by his inconceivable energy, he accepts some of the devotees as his parents and descendants. So it is the greatness of the Lord to appear as the son of his devotees, and because he appears as son of his devotees, the parents become famous. Uh, it is explained here that spiritual knowledge vanquishes the knot of the heart. Matter and spirit are knotted by false ego. The identification of oneself with matter is called Hridaya Grandhi. Yeah, and that's why the Lord appears, so that he can break through that knot. And in this connection, he says that it becomes more and more tightened. This Grandhi, which is the desire to enjoy, becomes more when there is too much affection for sex life. And the explanation given is Rishabdev, yeah, to his sons. He says that this material world is an atmosphere of attraction between male and female. Yeah, that attraction takes the shape of a knot in the heart. Uh, we see all this uh, attachment, so kind of a bondage, yeah, in the form of the attraction between male and female. And then what is happening is, and by material affection, yeah, it becomes still more tight. For people who hanker after material possessions like society, friendship, and love, this knot of affection becomes very strong. And how can one can be freed from it? It is only through Brahma Bhavana. What is that? The instruction by which spiritual knowledge is enhanced. That the knot in the heart is cut to pieces. No material weapon is needed to cut this knot, but it requires bona fide spiritual instruction. Yeah. So Kardama Muni instructed his wife that the Lord would appear as her son and dissipate spiritual knowledge to cut the knot of material identification. So, and in that way, afterwards, now Maitreya is telling that Devahuti was fully faithful and respectful towards direction of her husband, uh, and She thus began to worship the master of the universe, who is situated in everyone's heart. So, one second. Okay, one second. Let me go back. So, in that way, Devahuti got the instruction from her husband, who is also the spiritual master, yeah, for her. And why? Because he is instructing her, yeah. And in this connection, yeah, we see that in the Bhagavad Prabhupada is mentioning that this is the process of spiritual realization. One has to receive instruction from a bona fide spiritual master. Kardama Muni was Devahuti's husband, but because he instructed her on how to achieve spiritual perfection, he naturally became her spiritual master also. Yeah, and there are examples given as like Lord Shiva, also a spiritual master of Parvati. Uh, and here, what is qualification required? A husband should be so enlightened that he should become the spiritual master of his wife in order to enlighten her in the advancement of Krishna consciousness. So that is the reason there was this Vedic process. There is brahmachari, during which the celibate are instructed how to lead enlightened life. Yeah. So once he is married, then he can also enlighten his wife. Huh? Generally, the word here is important. Stree or woman is less intelligent than man. Therefore, if husband is intelligent enough, the woman gets a great opportunity for spiritual enlightenment. So in that way, what is the deal here is that when the husband is well trained and educated and qualified, yeah, then by his grace, by whatever he has achieved, uh, the benefit is shared by his wife. That is opportunity for spiritual enlightenment. Just in this case here, Kardama Muni uh, is such a great exalted devotee, and Devahuti is blessed. Here it is said, Samyak Shraddhaya, and these are two qualities. I think there are two qualities. One is that with great faith one should receive knowledge from spiritual master, and with great faith execute the performance of service. And this is so important. This is so one should accept the instruction of spiritual master as one's life and soul. Why? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in commentary is stressing the importance of the instruction of spiritual master. So it cannot be taken easily. It is not like any other opinion or advice given, but actually it's even stronger than that. It is an instruction which is as good as one's life and soul. Just like how we try everything to live in this world, huh? We have to take the message or instruction of the spiritual master in his presence and even beyond as one's life and soul, whether one is liberated or not. Yeah, one should execute the instruction of the spiritual master with great faith. If it is also stated the Lord is situated in everyone's heart. One does not have to seek Lord outside, he is already there. One simply has to concentrate on one's worship in good faith, yeah, as instructed by the bona fide spiritual masters. It is also clear that the Supreme Lord does not appear as an ordinary child. Ah, here, when the Lord is appearing as a boy, it doesn't mean that he is an ordinary boy, but he comes with his full spiritual power, full completeness of himself. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, he appears by his own internal potency, Atma Maya. And how does he appear? He appears when pleased by the worship of a devotee. Hmm? A devotee may ask the Lord to appear as her son. The Lord is already sitting within the heart, and if he comes out from the body of a devotee, it does not mean that the particular woman becomes his mother in material sense. He is always there. He is anyway there in everyone's heart. But He is always there, but in order to please his devotee, he appears as her son. So, and then after many years, then um, the Lord appeared. Yeah. So, just like it is said, the example given, here is after many years, the Lord entered the semen of Kardama, appeared in Devahuti, uh, just as fire comes from wood in a sacrifice. And in this connection, the reference I was giving is mentioned, where yeah, fire is always present in wood, but by a certain process, fire is kindled. Similarly, God is all pervading; He is everywhere, and since He may come out from everything, He appeared in His devotee's semen. Just as an ordinary living entity takes his birth by taking shelter of the semen of certain living entity, the Supreme Lord accepts the shelter of the semen of his devotee and comes out as his son. Yeah. So here, what does it mean? That this manifests his full independence to act in any way, and it doesn't mean that he is an ordinary living entity forced to take birth. Hmm? So the Lord can also appear like this, can appear like any way. Yeah. Lord Narasimha appeared from the pillar of Hiranyakashipu palace, Lord Varaha appeared from the nostrils of Brahma, and Lord Kapila appeared from the semen of Kardama. But this does not mean that the nostril of Brahma or pillar of Hiranyakashipu palace or the semen of Kardama Muni is the source of appearance of the Lord. That is not the source. The Lord is always Lord. Bhagavan Madhusudana. Hmm. And yeah, the word cardamom, yeah, that is, but we should not mistakenly understand that he was born just like an ordinary living entity from the semen of Kardama Muni in the womb of Devahuti. Yeah, and further saying, yeah, at the time of Lord's appearance, mm, everything was very auspicious. There was a celestial apsaras dancing in joy. Yeah, in at the time of his descent on earth, demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instruments in the sky. The celestial musicians Gandharvas sang glories of the Lord, while celestial dancing girls known as apsaras danced in joyful ecstasy. And then the demigods flying freely in the sky showered flowers all the directions, all the waters, and everyone's mind became very satisfied. And then Brahma went along with Marichi and other sages to the place where Kardama Muni's hermitage is, which was yeah around this Saraswati river. And then um, yeah, then Brahma is glorifying Kardama Muni and Devahuti, and he's predicting the future of activities of Kapila Dev, yeah, Kapila Muni. So he's saying that uh, um, after worshipping the Supreme Lord with gladdened senses and a pure heart for his intended activity as an incarnation, Brahma spoke following uh, as follows to Kardama and Devahuti. He said, "Since you have completely accepted my instructions without duplicity, showing them proper respect. So these are the two qualities. You have worshipped me properly. Whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me." Uh, so Brahmaji is saying that you are a perfect son. How? Because uh, Kardama Muni uh, uh, carried out the orders of spiritual master in toto and without cheating. So as it is, a conditioned soul in the material world has the disqualification of cheating. Yeah, one of the propensities, yeah, disqualification in the material world is cheating. He has four disqualifications. He is sure to commit mistakes. What are the four disqualifications of being of material world is that he is sure to commit mistakes. We know that human air is human. He is sure to be illusioned. He is prone to cheat others, and his senses are imperfect. But if one carries out the order of the spiritual master by disciplic succession or parampara, he overcomes the four defects. Therefore, knowledge received from bona fide spiritual master is not cheating. Any other knowledge which is manufactured by the conditioned soul is cheating only. Brahma knew well that Kardama Muni exactly carried out the instructions received from him and that he actually honored his spiritual master. And again, here it's important to honor the spiritual master means to carry out his instructions word for word. Sometimes we see that there is this um, casual dealing with the spiritual master where if he is saying, come on, he is living with us, he is playing with us, he is joking with us, he is friendly with us. So, in that sense, the seriousness should not be lost. One should give due respect and also be very serious on the instructions received and apply that and become successful. All other things are just facilitating one to approach the spiritual master, but the instructions should be taken to heart and applied and become successful. That's what is mentioned here. And this is very important. And what are the qualities required to be a good disciple? Huh? To accept the instructions without duplicity, not thinking what he will get, not think what is no what not to think what I will get, not to think that okay no by doing this am I getting fame, am I getting followers, nadanam najanam na sundarim, am I getting money, huh? Kavitamba jagadisha kame mama janmani janmanishware bhavatat bhaktir ahetuki tvai, even birth after birth. Yeah. I'm not so keen of fame, name, money, and all those things. I'm only keen birth after birth, repeating repeatedly, I can serve the Lord. Yeah. Showing them proper respect. Yeah, this is another thing. Yeah, sometimes we see that this Vaishnava etiquettes when we do not know. We do not know, then we may not be in a position to know how to respect a person and especially respect a spiritual master. So it is very, very important. Yeah, I think Rupa repeatedly mentions that we should conduct such a seminar of Vaishnava etiquettes so that all of us are very serious in our dealings with our juniors, seniors, and our peers. And especially very important how we deal in a temple, how we deal with authorities, how we deal with spiritual master. This is very, very important. And as that part of that, this I mean in Bhakta course already we came across respect. I don't know how many of you still remember that session. You're again welcome. The session starts next month. Respect is very important. So one should have no other intentions other than what his spiritual master wants. And also, in engaging in service, should not forget respect. Respect is very important. And you have worshipped me properly. And then what is the third one? Hmm? To serve. It is not just showing respect that, oh, okay, when Guru is walking there, I pay my obeisances very, very sincerely. But when I don't take up in serving him, then uh, um, yeah, one may not attain perfection mm, of life. Whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me. So this is the way how one can honor the spiritual master. So through this one verse, we can see how important it is. Yeah, Brahma is telling that take the example of Kardama Muni, apply that in life so that we can be successful serving spiritual master, which is the the most important. There is no other way one can become successful. Not even successful. There is no other way one can even start a spiritual life. Just hearing about the Lord, His glories, and can give us some um, a taste. Huh? But the sukruti, but the benefit actually starts when we approach a spiritual master by taking shelter and seeking initiation through this whole process. And after that, what is this? Engage in serving him and honoring him, respecting. So all these things. So here in this connection, Brahma praises. So we have already covered that. Brahma knew well that Kardamuni exactly carried out the instructions received from him, and he actually honored his spiritual master. Yeah. So anyway, this is very important. And then sons ought to render service to their father exactly to this extent. What is the purpose of the son is to extend such a respect to the father. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference. And how? Saying yes, sir. Yeah, this is the little word here. Uh, it is this badam iti. And yeah, I think in this connection there is this. Um, one word is pitari. Two words in this verse are very important. Pitari and guru. Uh, so the father, um, so son or disciple should accept the words of his spiritual master and father without hesitation. Whatever the father and the spiritual master order should be taken without argument, which means saying yes. There should be no instance in which the disciple or the son says, "This is not correct. I cannot carry it out." When he says that, he is fallen. The father and the spiritual master are on the same platform because a spiritual master is a second father. The higher classes are called Dvija. uh, Whenever there is a question of birth, there must be a father, right? The first birth is made possible by the actual father, and the second birth is made possible by the spiritual master. Sometimes the father and the spiritual master may be the same man, and sometimes they are different. In any case, the order of the father or the order of the spiritual master must be carried out without hesitation, with an immediate yes. There should be no argument. That is real service to the father and the spiritual master. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has stated that the order of the spiritual master is the life and soul of the disciples. As a man cannot separate his life from his body, a disciple cannot separate the order of spiritual master from his life. Huh? So if a disciple follows the instruction of spiritual master in that way, he is sure to become perfect. That is the essence of Upanishad. The import of Vedic instruction is revealed automatically only to one who has implicit faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and in his spiritual master. Hmm? So then one may be materially considered an illiterate man, but if he has faith in spiritual master as well as in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what does this mean? One need not study IAS, one need not become a scientist, astronaut, all those things. But if he just, even if he just has faith in the spiritual master, hmm, as well as in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the meaning of the scriptural revelation is immediately manifested before him. So that is the potence of faith and serving the spiritual master. Saying so, Kardama then praised Kardama nine daughters. Huh? So here he was saying about these chaste daughters of Kardama Muni. Yeah, and here they are given as daughters to the um, yeah, the rishis or sages who came with Brahmas. I mean, who are there? His sons. So here he was hopeful that through the daughters, many children would come who would take charge of creative principle of material world. He was therefore happy to see them. So here, on one side, Brahma is very happy. He is satisfied by the service of his son because he has begot nine daughters who are very chaste and beautiful and qualified to do the actual duty. What is the duty? to expand the progenation, to expand the universe with population. And for that, yeah, he has qualified 9 daughters. So in that way, yeah, the duty of a grihastha, of uh, as Kardama Muni has fulfilled his duty, he has had good children and extension of his lineage, uh, and that the word Sumadhyama means a good daughter of a beautiful woman. If she has a thin waist, a woman is considered very beautiful. All the daughters were of same beautiful feature. Yeah, and then um, which was therefore today please give away your daughters to the foremost of the sages with due regard for the girl's temperament and liking, and thereby spread your fame all over the universe. Here again, the next instruction of Brahmaji is that to give his daughters. So in that way, what is happening? Kardama Muni is also freeing himself. Yeah, I don't know who was that. Adirasa Prabhu was asking, okay, did he leave immediately? Yeah, with due permission, he left, entered into renunciation, but he did everything within the Grihastha ashram, that he had children and he has handed over his daughters to qualified, yeah, mm, persons, yeah, and also handed over, yeah, his wife in the safe hands of his son. So the nine principal rishis are Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kritu, Bhrugu, Vasishta, and Atharva. All these rishis are most important, and Brahma desired that the 9 daughters already born of Kardama Muni be handed over to them. Here two words, Atha Sheelam, Atha Ruchi. The daughters should be handed over to the respective rishis not blindly, but according to the combination of character and taste. That is the art of combining a man and woman. Man and woman should not be united simply on the consideration of sex life. There are many other considerations, especially character, yeah, and taste. If the taste and character differ between man and woman, their combination will be unhappy. Even about 40 years ago in Indian marriages, the taste and character of boy and girl were first of all matched, and then they were allowed to marry. This was done under the direction of respective parents. The parents used to astrologically determine the character and taste of the boy and girl, and when they corresponded, the match was selected. Uh, this boy and that girl are just suitable. Anyway, so if we also see that the classical um, arrangement where the girl and boy are brought together on a match, what do you call matching? I don't know, alliance time, is that the girl and boy tastes are understood. What is the character? What is the taste? And then uh, once they match, yeah. Then, of course, that is the reason we still see, right, where the boy is asking, "Can you speak? Can you sing?" And if you are singing, then one person knows, what is the taste of the girl, or girl is asking, what are the tastes of, um, yeah, the boy. Yeah. So in that way, to know each other, and of course, already through astrology to understand the mood and the character. So in that way, arranged marriage was set up. Yeah. So this girl and this boy are just suitable and they should be married. Other considerations were less important. The same system was also advised in the beginning of the creation, like by Brahma. Yeah. So according to astrological calculation, a person, I don't know if who is that, Rishabh Prabhu. Yeah. Here we are again coming on this astrological point. Yeah. A person is classified according to whether he belongs to the godly or demoniac quality. In that way, the spouse was selected. A girl of godly quality should be handed over to a boy of godly quality. A girl of demonic quality should be handed over to a boy of demonic quality. Then they will be happy. But if the girl is demonic and the boy is godly, then the combination is incompatible. They cannot be happy in such a marriage. At the present moment, because boys and girls are not married according to the qualities and character, most marriages are unhappy and there is divorce. Um, anyway, I mean, this is sideline, not the main topic of our study. But a child is first born of a good father and mother, and then he is born again of the spiritual master and the Vedas. The first mother and the father bring about his birth into the world. Then the spiritual master and the Vedas become his second mother and father and mother. According to the Vedic system of marriage, for producing children, every man and woman was enlightened in spiritual knowledge. And at the time of their combination to produce a child, everything was scrutinizingly and scientifically done, not by accident. Yeah, this is what sometimes we hear. Uh, I didn't had a plan for a child. Yeah, but yeah, what to do now? In that way, so many people, so many parents sometimes take the responsibility as burden, and some don't even consider that. They simply leave the child at some secluded, unnoticed places so that someone else can take care of them, or leave at the doorsteps of some orphanages, etc. Yeah, this is what we see in Calcutta. Uh, that was a time when Mother Teresa, she um, started organizing to take care of that um, mm, left out children on the streets. And yeah, so but mm, uh, in Vedic times, this was not there. It was everything was properly planned. And at the time of their combination to produce a child, the consciousness of the mother and father is enlightened by chanting. Yeah, so this is what Prabhupada mentions when the devotee parents, when they engage in Garbhadan Sanskar, that they chant the holy name of the Lord and then engage in the process, and everything was scrutinizingly and scientifically done. Okay. And then further here is saying, I know that the original personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy. Yeah, and now he is saying about the glories of Kapila. Yeah, till now he was saying about the greatness of Kardama Muni, Devahuti, and now about their son. Yeah, he is the bestower of all that is desired by the living entities, and he has now assumed the body of Kapila. Hmm. So in this connection, yeah, here he says, uh, Avatirnam Swamayaya. Swamayaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is everlastingly, eternally the form of Purusha, the predominator or enjoyer. And when he appears, he never accepts anything of this material energy. And then there is also, yeah, the word Swamayaya by his own internal potency indicates that whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, he comes in his own energy. Yeah, and then there is also, yeah, and the word Sevadim means he is the original bestower of all the necessities of life upon the living entities. In the Vedas also it is stated that he is the chief living entity and that he bestows all the desired necessities of other living entities. Uh, because he is the bestower of the necessities of all others, he is called God. So this is the definition of God. Again, I'll read. Because he is the bestower of the necessities of all others, he is God. The Supreme is also a living entity. He is not impersonal. As we are individual, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also individual, but he is the Supreme individual. That is the difference between God and ordinary living entity. So in that way, we understand there is never it's possible that one can become God. One can only become godly, not God. Yes. And then he's saying by mystic yoga and the practical application of knowledge from scriptures, Kapila Muni, who is characterized by his, yeah, here the um, appearance of Kapila Dev is given, yeah. very nicely described. The activities of Kapila Muni are forecast here. What he will do, he will present the philosophy of Sankhya, uh, in such a way that by studying his philosophy, people will be able to uproot the deep rooted desire for karma. That is the main mission of the Lord, that whatever the spiritual knowledge which is lost, I think that will come in other place. Huh? He is once again, yeah, he is appearing to enlighten people so that without that knowledge, karma kanda is dominated. The desire is so much strong. This not not in the heart is so strong, tight, to break it into pieces. Yeah, this knowledge, which is Sankhya philosophy, Kapila Muni is coming to give that. Everyone in this material world engages in achieving the fruit of his labor. A man tries to be happy by achieving the fruits of his own honest labor. That's why he is not feeling guilty because I am working. If someone is saying, "Hey, why are you enjoying?" He says, "It's my right because every day I'm working hard, and when it comes to result, I should enjoy it." Hmm? So a man tries to be happy by achieving fruits, but actually he becomes more and more entangled. This we do not know because we are thinking we are the rightful owners of the results, and because we want to enjoy the results. That's why we work very hard. Otherwise, maybe we may not be so hardly working. Uh, One cannot get out of this entanglement unless he has perfect knowledge or devotional service. And to tell that who is coming, Kapila Muni is coming. Those who are trying to get out of the entanglement by speculation are also doing their best. But in Vedic scripture, we find that if one has taken to devotional service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness, he can very easily uproot the deep rooted desire for fruitful activities. So, one who realizes that this world is a place where enjoyment is like squeezing some juice out of sand. Yeah, it's like that. Or thinking just like this camel, when this camel is eating the cactus fruit, which is having thorns, and it is relishing the juice of this cactus fruit, thinking that the fruit is giving juice, but actually the juice is coming from its own suffering. What is that suffering? The thorns of this uh, plant are piercing the skin of the camel mouth, and when it pierces, then the blood is coming, and when this blood is coming, then that is the juice. It's thinking the juice of the fruit, but it's the suffering. So because of these two things, when someone is coming to an understanding, come on, it's not so difficult to understand the suffering of this world. Yeah, whatever we think that we want to get enjoyment, we see that how it gives us displeasure and pain. So to know that is not a problem, but the way out, unless one is getting the spiritual knowledge, the way out is not so easy. So one can be speculative in the brute force way of trial and error, do that, do this, do that, do this, and uh, one may not succeed. One may not succeed, and will take long time. Just like if someone is lost in a forest, to come out of the forest is not so easy on his own. But when someone is a forester, a guide who can tell the way out by taking the right directions, then he can come out of the forest safe. Otherwise, there is no guarantee that he may become a prey of an animal. Uh, so that yeah, so speculatively coming out of this is not so easy. So that is the reason one needs strong foundation of foundation of Vedic scriptures and practice devotional service, and then he can very easily uproot the deep rooted desire for fruitful activities. Sankhya philosophy will be broadcast by Kapila Muni for that purpose. His bodily features are also described here. Gnana does not refer to ordinary research work. Gnana refers to entails receiving knowledge from the scriptures through the spiritual master by disciplic succession. That is gnana. That is very important. It's not just a knowledge. Gnan means okay, just by knowing this. No, it has to be received from disciplic succession through the spiritual master, not by an ordinary master, but uh, one who is enlightened, who is spiritual. In the modern age, there is a tendency to do research by mental speculation and concoction. But the man who speculates forgets that he himself is subject to four defects of nature. He is sure to commit mistakes, his senses are imperfect, he is sure to fall in illusion, and he is sure to commit mistakes. He and he's cheating. Yeah. So this is there one or the other because he's not perfect. Unless one has perfect knowledge from disciplic succession, he simply puts forth such theories of his own creation. Therefore, he is cheating people. Gnana means knowledge received through disciplic succession from the scriptures. And now, what is Vijnana? Is to practically apply that. uh, Means practical application of such knowledge. So, Kapila Muni's Sankhya system of philosophy is based on Gnana and Vijnana. So, that is the and then Brahma then told Devahuti that the same personate of Godhead who killed the demon Kaitaba is now within your womb. He will cut off all the knots of your ignorance and doubt. Yeah. uh, then he will travel all over the world. So he is predicting, or he is foretelling, not predicting, he is foretelling what is going to happen. Yeah. So this avidya, uh, samsaya grandhi means doubtful. Avidya is ignorance. So these he is saying that the knot of doubtfulness is tied when the soul identifies with material world. That knot is also called ahankar, the junction of matter and spiritual matter and spirit. By proper knowledge received from the scriptures in the disciplic succession, and by proper application of that knowledge, one can free himself from this binding combination of matter and spirit. So, Devahuti Brahma is saying that her son will enlighten her, and after enlightening her, he will travel all over the world distributing the system of Sankhya philosophy. Yeah? There is further just he said, just worship Krishna and become a devotee of Krishna, then all doubts are gone. This is the real knowledge, and anyone who follows that system becomes perfect without a doubt. And your son will be head of all the perfected souls, and then what? He will be approved by the acharyas and Sankyacharyas. I think the word referred here is Sankhya. Yeah. So I am Siddha, Siddha Ganadisha. So he is head of what? Siddha Ganadishas, and then Sankhya-charya. Uh, Susammata, approved by all of them. Loke Kapila iti ahkyam Ganta te Kirti Vardhanam. He is well known all over the world. Hmm? Your son will be the head of all the perfected souls. He will be approved by acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge, and among the people he will be celebrated by the name Kapila. As the son of Devahuti, he will increase your fame. Yeah. So, in this connection, no, in some other purport it will come that we should not mistaken, because there is an imitation Sankhya philosophy and imitation Kapila. So what that Kapila has said is not the real one. Here only I can read now. Yeah. The other Kapila, who is not the son of Devahuti, is an imitation. This is the statement of Brahma, and because he belongs to Brahma's disciplic succession, we should accept his statement that the real Kapila is the son of Devahuti, and that real Sankhya philosophy is the system of philosophy which he introduced and which will be accepted by the acharyas, the directors of spiritual discipline. The word susammata means accepted by persons who are counted upon to give their good opinion. After that, speaking Kardama Muni and his good wife Brahma, I think, yeah, he left. And then Vidura, after the departure of Brahma, Kardama having been ordered by Brahma, he handed over all these nine daughters to the um, to them, and this is the order in which he has given his daughters. Kala is given to Marichi, Anusuya to Atri, Shraddha to Angira, Havirbhu to Pulasya, Gati to Pulaha, Kriya to Kratu, Khyati to Bhrugu, Anuradha to Vasishta Muni, and Shanti to Atharva. Yeah, and here is this mentioned because of Shanti. Sacrificial ceremonies are well performed. Thus, he got the foremost Brahmanas married, and he maintained them along with their wives. So, in that way, Kardama Muni fulfilled his Grahastha life, and then thus he left. Did he write here? No, he is waiting. He'll talk to Lord. Thus married, the sage took leave of Kardama. The sages took leave of Kardama and departed full of joy, each for his own hermitage. When Kardama Muni understood, no, we didn't start with 26, but here this is all about Kardama Muni um, prayers to Kapila, yeah, to and also seeking permission that he can leave, yeah, so etc. That we will discuss next week. Okay, Hare Krishna. I am done. Anyone want to add anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for this sweet narration. Yeah. And so, Prabhuji, how old was Kapil Muni at that time when his sisters were married? Because they were born just after second day, no? After
Yeah, yeah,
Garbhadhan.
but after many years, then Kapila Muni appeared.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that comes in the. Let me see. That comes after many, many years. The Supreme Personality of Godhead entered the seven of Kardama.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, otherwise you were doubting a child marriage or what?
Yeah, what, Prabhuji?
Otherwise you were doubting about child marriages.
No, 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 no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking about when he was appeared, when the Lord appeared at
Hmm. Yeah.
okay. Yes, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, I was thinking that so when so we say that we should not have the attachment to family affairs. We should
Mm-hmm.
perform it as a duty. That at what time when the attachment becomes a bondage in family life, at what point, or at to which degree the attachment is all right, but and so from what point the attachment becomes the bondage which binds us in this world, and when and at what point the attachment can work as a yeah um, as a way to free us, you know, like the
Mm-hmm.
attachment to family life is maybe a bondage, or attachment to the spiritual master and the Lord is a way to yeah to free from us.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, you're asking is that what is that line? Yeah. Where is the line?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So the line is very simple. Whenever we are engaging in anything, yeah, we should always check: am I doing it for my pleasure or for my family pleasure, um, and or am I doing it for the pleasure of the Lord? Hmm? So when we always have, when we put this question, if we see that it is a part of devotional service, then it is authorized. When it's not, then it is actually serving our senses. Yeah. Sometimes we may think, okay, no, no, no. It's okay. I remember His Holiness Kadam Kanan Maharaj, when he was in a gathering, then there was one, all of a sudden, a devotee who came. For quite some days he was not seen, but all of a sudden then he was holding a glass of wine, and then he said, no, 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 not he was holding it. He was saying, once a while, when the discussion was about four regulative principles, then yeah, once a while to drink, uh, yeah, to consume alcohol or intoxicating things is okay. And then Maharaj immediately understood that, okay, yeah, he got attached to that. So then after few days or some, he even left his call. So when we take these shortcuts for our pleasure, right? Hmm? When we think sometimes it's okay, then what we are doing is we're actually engaging in our own satisfaction, our own pleasure. So that's already a alarm or a signal when we are taking liberation, or when we are taking, what do you call, not liberation, when we are taking concessions um, in our sense control, in our uh, devotional as grihastha life. Yeah, did it answer your question or?
Yes, Guruji. Yeah. So, like serving parents should be in the mood that we are serving the Lord. That
Yes, serving the Lord
as
and
a
his.
duty.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So that means at that time there will be no attachment, that they are my parents or they are my wife or children.
yeah. I mean, when we are seeing everything in connection to the Lord, and when we are seeing that, okay, yeah, as you said, everyone is having dharma, right? As I said, everyone has a duty, and when one is understanding the duty and following the duties, then he, in a detached way of vairagya, then engaging in devotional service, one becomes perfect. But rather what happens is that in the spirit of duty, if we are more affection, showing more affection, attracted more, and engaging ourselves, then we'll always think, what is wrong? Yeah. What we will start doing is we will start going into the gray zone. Yeah, this gray zone, like then you don't know, are you really in a duty bond, are you in really attached bond? Hmm? And that's why it's very simple, yeah, as it says here that if we follow the instructions of spiritual master, then then one is safe, isn't it? Yeah, by following the instruction of spiritual master, then he knows what duty he is performing, is he doing correctly, is he uh, um, deviating, or yeah, so these things one can understand and can always be on the path. Because sometimes what may happen is I've seen that to satisfy the parents, or the family, or a wife or a husband, what happens is in that satisfaction one is not able to follow his duty. Hmm? Because there is again duty, right? Dharma and paradharma. Yeah, Ajira Prabhu. Because there is at a grihastha level or varnashrama level there is a duty, but there is also duty as a soul, which is even superior, which is even above this dharma. So one has to use the varnashrama systems to come to the stage where one is performing austerities and sense control, so that he is elevating oneself to that stage. But when it comes to this paradharma or the dharma, then when one has to see, yeah, am I, uh, mm, what is my level? It is something like if someone is in a class 2 and he say, no, 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 class 10 anyway he has to study, let me put him in class 10. Then for him everything is Greek and Latin. Yeah. So one has to always get the guidance. Yeah? There is always the teacher, right, in every class. So that teacher is seeing what is the level he can, if he can jump 2 classes, 3 classes, or has to stay back. Why? Because that process is there to churn, to purify, So I've seen some where the parents do a world tour, uh, or they do big scale things which are not, no more authorized as per Vedic way of living, or maybe on a superficial level. Yeah. So hard-earned money which should be disposed for serving the mission, yeah, serving the Lord. If one is not carefully protecting it or, yeah, checking it and engaging correctly, then he is also part of the problem. He is also part of that. So one had to exercise his dutifully under the spiritual master's guidance. Yeah. And
Yes,
as in one of
Guruji.
the purports we came across now, it is that the spiritual master is the father and Vedas are the mother. So when we serve the parents, yeah, the spiritual master and the Vedas, then we can attain perfection. Yeah.
Yes,
Anyone want to
thank you,
add
Guruji.
or okay?
But Guruji, we also heard here that one should obey the instructions of the father and the spiritual master without any objection, like with
Mm-hmm.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
In some cases, we see that when the father is not spiritually inclined, and
Mm.
when the father wants the son to be uh, to be away from the spiritual path, in that case, it does not apply, right?
Yeah, one can accept because in the end there is this runa, right? Pitra run. Yeah. As soon as the Pitra run is get one frees from the Pitra run, yeah, so he's free. And this Guru, yeah, so he's accepting the spiritual master and Dvija, right? So once one who is initiated by the spiritual master, then the spiritual master is becoming the father. Yeah. So even in the purport, if you have seen in the purport, the emphasis is given for father and spiritual master, but eventually later it's shown how important it is to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. And if a situation comes such a way, then one should confidentially discuss with the spiritual master and seek guidance what to do.
Yes, Guruji. Thank you. Very
Yeah,
nicely explained. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions? No questions? Then thank you very much for joining, and we'll talk tomorrow. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथ श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.